Hey, hi, my name's Tim.
Hey, Tim.
So we are so excited that you are joining us tonight. This is our kickoff workshop. Through COVID, we've had so many families call and ask about this transition to adulthood. And probably because a lot of systems were shut down, like Social Security and DSS and the schools sometimes, just getting through and figuring out these systems have been a headache for a lot of families. So what we would like to do, this is a kickoff. So we're going to do like brief overviews of some of the systems, but then at the end, I want to have you guys take a survey and find out what of the transition to adulthood topics you're most interested in right now. And we're going to develop our trainings from those surveys. So what we're going to do is touch on the major topics tonight, and then we'll dive deep into each of the subsequent trainings. So what I'd like to do now is just start off. I gave everybody a PowerPoint. You want one, Laura? Okay. So really quick before we get started, would you guys mind just sharing what I would like to find out is where you guys are in the process? So we'll start here in the room, Mr. Westfall.
Yeah.
So the age of your child and kind of where you are in transitioning.
So my name's Tim Westfall. My wife Sharon is virtual right now. Garrett's 16, just started his sophomore year at Grimsley. And it's been a normal, well, she could probably explain that part better. There's 2 different programs, so he's on a program where he gets a diploma.
OCS.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's high functioning kid, wants to go to college. We've met with a friend of ours who has a child a little older, trying to make some sense of what's coming.
Very good. And Jackie, introduce yourself, and Shawana, you'll do that in a minute.
Okay, so I am Jackie Hawkins. I am the EC Parent Liaison for Guilford County Schools. My children have all gone through this process, but things change over and over. So I really like to come to this and learn something new each time.
And I rely on Jackie quite a bit for resources in Guilford County Schools, but I think we share, some of those families as well. So
I am Shawana Patterson. I work for Compassionate Care of North Carolina, and I do advocacy. I'm a community navigator, but I do a lot of advocacy stuff. So, and Jackie and Stephanie, all of them.
and Laura.
I'm Laura Sturgis. I work here at the ARC.
Oh, I should have done this.
And
Yep, there we go.
I would be able to help with Social Security questions moving forward for jobs.
Okay, so now online, Sharon is your wife, right?
Yes.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi there.
So we've already heard about Garrett. Garrett?
Yep.
Yes, but your mom, right? You're
Yep.
important
She
too.
probably knows a little more detail.
Yeah.
Detailed question.
So welcome. And then Abigail Miles.
Hello. I'm actually listening in for my brother who lives with me. He's actually 28. But there's definitely more resources that I want to look into for him.
Wonderful. We love siblings. And yeah. So Abigail, what type of resources are you looking for right now?
I'm especially looking for service and job opportunities for him. With COVID that came, we were starting to gear up to do job training and stuff. But of course, with COVID, we kind of hit the brakes on that. And now that things are starting to calm down a little, I want to start learning about what opportunities are out there for someone like him.
Sure. We would be happy to help you.
Thank you.
All right, and Amy, I've got Amy A.
Yeah, Amy Austin.
Austin. Hi,
Mhm.
Amy.
Hey, my daughter's Rachel, and she will be 21 in December, and I have no idea where to start.
Okay, we can help you. Yeah.
Okay.
Shawana's like, oh, I'm gonna get.
Yes. And
I like it.
Scott.
Hi, my son is Jack Proudfit, and he's 17. And he just went back into the public school system. He was at Impact Journey for 5 years here in Guilford, and now he's at Western, and he's working towards his OCS. And we're interested in when he turns 18, first of all, the legal things we need to do, and then anything beyond that.
Wonderful. We can help you with that.
Thanks.
And then is it Michaela? Hi, Michaela? Or Michaela? All right, we'll come back, Michaela. If you can't answer, or if you would like, you can also have the opportunity to chat. Oh, here we go.
Hi.
Hi.
My son is 17. He'll be 18 in a few months. And he goes to Smith, and he's in the OCS program, and just wanted to find out what I need to know.
Wonderful.
going forward.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. We've got a good bit to cover tonight. I only have 11 slides, but they're really full of information. So one of the things that I wanted to start with tonight is an opportunity to just take a brief look at all of these systems that we need to dive into, and then a couple tools that might be helpful as you're trying to figure out or create a roadmap for your adult or soon to be adult child. So let me make sure it's going to let me forward. Okay. There we go. All right. So how many of you guys are overwhelmed? And you don't have to answer if you're online, but the process definitely can be overwhelming. And you know, we've gone through 18 to 22 years. Well, you started at 6, but
Yeah.
12 to 15 years of school. But all of these new systems are just as large as the school system, and sometimes a little bit overwhelming to navigate. There's the Medicaid waiver plan. Just as a quick poll, how many of you guys are on the wait list for Innovations waiver?
I don't know what that is.
Have you ever heard of it?
Sharon?
CAP program?
I am in the process of trying to get on the list. I've got
Okay.
the application sent to me now of what we need to do.
Okay, good. Okay. Abigail, Amy, or Michaela, are you guys familiar with this? Or I'm sorry, Scott too.
Alex is has chat services already, so thankfully I've got that down.
Okay, who was that?
That was
Abby.
Abby, sorry. Although interestingly, I have a 5-year-old who is on the waiting list right now who has autism. So my son is 5 years old. He's on the waiting list. He's been on the waiting list now for 2 years. So it's kind of funny. I get to see my brothers do the adulthood thing, and I'm, trying to gear up already for my 5-year-old.
Yeah, it's a good thing you did that at age 3.
Yeah.
We say the earlier you can get on it, the better. So, and we've just had a new person join us. This is Joe Hedgecock. So we have the Medicaid waiver. This is going to get even more complicated by December 1st, because we are going through Medicaid transformation, and the new terms that we're going to hear is tailored plans. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Social Security and SSI or SSDI, how many of you guys are already through that process?
Well, we
Yes, 'cause
just
you,
lost it, because, but it's okay,
Yeah. How about on the folks online? Are you familiar with it? Or have you gone through it yet?
Have not
Um,
been through it yet.
Yeah, Abby's here and Alex is on, does have SSI currently.
Good,
Um,
okay.
My mom was able to handle that part.
Okay, and who had the 21-year-old?
Me, Amy.
Amy.
Yeah, well, the Medicaid waiver, I don't know what that is. She has a Medicaid card that I was just sent out of the blue. But the Social Security, she's still receiving her dad's Social Security until she gets out of school, they said, and she goes this year and next year. So then I guess I'll need to do her Social Security.
Yeah, how old was she again? I'm sorry.
She'll be 21 in December, but she's already started this year, and so she should have another year, I was told.
So does she get SSI or SSDI?
Her father died, and she's getting his Social
DI.
Security. Is
Okay.
that what DI is? Okay, yeah.
Yes, it is. So okay, that's good. And then we'll talk a little bit about guardianship and alternatives to guardianship. Those who want to work, vocational rehabilitation is another system we go through. And then we as an organization, the ARC, are very centered around self-advocacy and helping individuals who are their own advocate learn to advocate for themselves. So we'll talk about all of these things. All right, I just want to briefly touch on the statistics. I know that they can be boring, but I think it is important for us to kind of really realize in Guilford County, the prevalence of people living with disabilities, 51,000 and 30. That's 11% of our population. And then even more importantly, the poverty rate of people with disabilities is 28.6% versus 13.1% of a person without a disability. That is primarily because our employment rate is very low. Our unemployment rate is super high. And we're living on fixed incomes with the SSI or SSDI. All right, so let me just dive in a little bit to the innovations waiver. So I think I heard several of you have not even heard of the innovations waiver before. Okay, so the innovations waiver is a Medicaid waiver that waives the income of the family and allows a person who has higher needs to be able to receive one-on-one support in the community. So my son actually has an innovations waiver. Someone's brother has one. Which one? Abby? His brother has one. Yeah. So basically it allows my son Sam to get someone to support him in the community. So my son goes to the Beyond Academics program, and he moved out of the house. He lives in an apartment right off campus, and he gets what's called supported living. So he gets someone who comes in and helps him pay bills and keep his apartment clean and go to work and go to school and make sure he's staying organized and all those skills that you need to be an adult. Keep your checkbook and all that stuff. So it can be hugely beneficial. It can be hugely beneficial. once your young person becomes an adult. What I put on here is a way to get on their list. I'm also at the end of this going to email you the Registry of Unmet Needs. It is a page on Sandhills that gives you all the information you need to register or to get on this waiting list. In North Carolina, there's about 12,000 people who have this innovations waiver. There's more than 15,000 people on a wait list waiting on it.
We're on the wait list.
Yes. So, but I tell everyone that it's important for you to be on the list because the legislature needs to know how many people are in need. So I keep their phone number above my desk, and everybody I talk to, I totally encourage them to make this phone call. If you live in Guilford County, I didn't ask that question. You're going to call this number that's on the PowerPoint and ask for Betty McCormick. She works Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 8 to 12. You have to leave her a message if it's outside of those hours.
Sorry, what was those days again?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 8 to 12. So I highly recommend you call and talk to her. Get her, you're going to ask her for the paperwork for the Registry of Unmet Needs. And that website will tell you exactly the language to use. I've got a handout for you. Yeah. And I'm going to email you guys who are virtual a handout as well.
And so is the register of unmet needs the same thing as the innovations waiver? Is that the same?
It's the wait list for the waiver. Yes. They love these, terms like Registry of Unmet Needs. But what that gives you, once you get the waiver, you get up to $139,000 of services annually. Most people don't utilize all those funds, but you can go up that high. My sons are probably about half that, but still, he is allowed about 8 hours a day of services. So
That's just on the waiting list.
there's a waiting list right now. There's 15,000 people on a wait list. At the bottom of the slide, there's a group of parents who have gotten together and really formed a nice coalition. They're called the Innovation Waiver Action Team, and I've got the Facebook link for them and their website listed on here. I highly recommend you link into them. This group started out of Forsyth County. They now have actually a grant through the DD Council, and there's some money behind it now, and they're actually doing really good lobbying work in Raleigh. The state just released 1,000 waivers this year. It was about 300 in March and another 700 in July that came out. But again, that's 1,000 versus the more than 15,000 people who are on the wait list. It's across the state, yeah.
Do you know what it means for Guilford?
Guilford ended up getting a little over 100, but we're like the third largest county. So once you get on it, it used to be based on need. Now it's based on the date you get on it. So tomorrow, call and get on the list. Right now, the 1,000 that they released, they were pulling from 2004, 5, and 6. So,
Is there any age? I think that's the thing we've always been trying to figure out. Is there an age limit on any of this stuff, or just go and start registering from it?
yes, my son will have it till he dies. And that's one of the reasons of limited resources is you keep it until you die or you move out of North Carolina. If you move out of North Carolina, it does not go state to state.
What about the opposite end? age? Beginning age?
We should be starting this at birth. This should be
A
given.
lot of us just don't know
Yeah.
that.
I mean, if, you're born and you have a disability, my kids, it was age 2 or 3 when they were diagnosed, but they really should have this information for families at that age. And we should be doing it in preschool and just letting people know, or early intervention. But it's not right. And you would not believe how many families that come to us, and particularly parents who are in rural areas, and the families have just, done everything, every service for their family member, and then a mom or a dad passes away, and then the siblings are like, what do we do? We have no idea. So, but those are people who, take care of them, their family members, and make sure everybody's taken care of. We have so many families like that in their 80s who passed, and then the loved ones in their 50s or whatever. So it's just so vital that we make sure we're letting folks know about this. It can make a huge difference in quality of life. Okay, a question? Yes. Hi, Michaela.
Hi. I never heard of the innovation waiver, and my son is 17 now. So if we get on the list, could it, I guess you were saying like maybe it's like a 20-year wait list or something?
I don't want to let get your hopes up. It is a longer wait list. Chawana could probably give us a good idea. I know people who have been on it. We were very fortunate. My son got on it when he was like 4, and he got it when he was 6. But I know most of his friends who have gotten on it still do not have the waiver. So we're talking easily 15 to 20 years wait right now.
Okay.
Yes. So here's the deal. If you're over 18 and you're on the wait list, there are other pots of money. Right now it's called B3 funding. And so some of the participants that or people that we support, instead of like my son gets 8 hours a day, you may be able to get 8 to 16 hours a week. And you can get supported employment and respite for families. So it's kind of like a waiver light. That B3 funding is going away December 1st with this new Medicaid transformation, but it's going to be called Innovations Light, and it's a 1915 little I waiver. So we have no idea what that's going to look like, but it is so important to be on the wait list. You cannot get any of these services unless you're on the wait list. So once you get on that wait list, call me, and then I'll coach you on how to ask for those other services.
You said that was going to change in December. December?
December 2022 Medicaid transformation is happening. There's still people who are doubtful it really will, but right now, according to DHHS, it is happening.
And it's called
Medicaid transformation. And I've got another, basically the state of North Carolina, up until, well, now, medical, physical health, and behavioral health are dealt with differently. And by different organizations. Behavioral health is managed by the LME-MCOs or Sandhills, Partners, Alliance. There's like 6 around the state. And then your Medicaid comes from what's called North Carolina Medicaid Direct, your physical. They're merging it together. And the thought process behind that is that when you're taking behavioral meds, it can affect your medical, your physical health. And so we need to have our doctors talking together to be treated as a whole person. So that's in a very simplified term, they're bringing everybody together and it's going to be chaos for about, we don't know how long right now. It could be several months of chaos. But you may have gotten a letter in the mail recently. If you're on the wait list or if you're receiving services, to pick a provider. So if you have any questions about that, Chawana's diving deep into that right now. She just stepped, she got a phone call. So we're going to have more Zoom calls coming up to help walk through filling that form out. We're all still trying to figure it out. DHHS doesn't even know what it is.
What if we
So
already have-
Chawana, just questions about the form, the letters that came out in the last 2 weeks.
Yay.
So here's
That's what I was on
Chawana.
the phone with those people that reached me after hours. So what was the question?
Well, I was telling him that if you're on the wait list or receive Medicaid currently,
Right.
you probably have received a letter
Letter.
in the last 2 weeks that looks like Greek.
Yes, yes. The letter
Yeah.
that they sent out last week was because we're doing the Medicaid reform and the expansion. They sent out letters to tell everybody that you need to pick a plan for whatever services your kid gonna get for the state. So we already was on a standard plan, and now we're gonna add in the tailored plan. It's gonna sound great, guys. Maybe it will sound great, but it's all tied into the Medicaid system. So what the state had already thought that we were gonna do with this was with this Medicaid expansion was we would allow people to get more services. Now, of course, they enticed me with saying we got 1,000 new slots, and they're like, you're gonna be happy. But then I didn't understand what all the rest of this stuff meant. So, so the standard plan was already active. We're gonna open up the tailored plan that will make the state have more services for people that are not getting services. I know somebody said they wasn't getting services, but they're on the waiting list. And if you already got Medicaid, you already can get standard plan services, which is it looks good on paper. It looks good on paper. The problem is we just got paper. I was actually talking to one of my friends just now that's on that development, and she's trying to walk me through some other things when I have this meeting.
We're going to have another Zoom down the road to talk in depth about
standard
plan
and tailored
and
plan.
how to
But we
fill out
don't
your
have anybody. We don't have anybody in here that's already got services, right?
Yes, we do have one
Innovations person.
brother. Yes.
Oh yeah, that person.
Yes.
I will let them. I will give you information on how to get into my meeting on Thursday.
Oh, you're
But-
doing a email me and I'll forward it
Yeah.
out to the group.
And the standard plan, if you got Medicaid and you have applied for anything and you're on the list of unmet needs, standard plans are available to you, and you should have gotten a letter.
A year ago.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, they should have got this one too,
Oh, now.
because they
Okay,
should've
because
got
it can
this one.
choose.
Yeah, because they gotta choose, so they should have gotten a letter.
I
So
don't think
it,
I've got this.
Do you have a the kid Medicaid?
if you have, or if you would like to be a part of Chawana's call on Thursday, I can email you her link
Okay.
for this specific thing. So we're going to move on really quick because, yeah, we're at the halfway mark right now. I know, we really could.
No, that letter.
All right,
You
so
put it in trash.
another really big choice that we have to make around this time is guardianship and then alternatives to guardianship. How many of you are at that point? Did we
What?
have one other one that was under 18?
Yes, we had I wrote it down. It was Garrett, was it?
That's Garrett.
Then we
yeah.
got somebody at Southern, I think.
My son is 17.
17.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My son is also 17.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
somebody else.
right. Okay. All right. So, is this something that you guys are interested in pursuing or are understanding a little bit more about?
Yes.
Okay, good. So,
And when you talk about guardianship, are you talking about within the wills?
No,
so at 18, a person becomes an adult. Any person
Right.
becomes an adult. So the question is whether they require a higher level of help with making decisions.
yeah.
Yes. Yes,
So at 18, it's just like, I would tell parents, you get a brand new birth certificate.
Yes.
So you get the birth of this 18-year-old. So most of the individuals with special needs, at that point, they become their own guardian. So you're not able to do the same thing what you do with your typical kids. So you have to decide whether or not you want to become their guardian, or you're gonna let them manage everything else. They're gonna get that same credit card that your other ones get. They're gonna get all that stuff, and they're gonna make all the decisions. You're not gonna talk to their doctors anymore. You're gonna have the same exact thing. So you got to decide how you're gonna handle getting your kids' needs met at that time. So there are lots of options, and that's my area, and that's what I love.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
Sharon's a reading for it, so.
yes, so, and we can definitely help you. And this is where we're going to go and dive deeper, into, like, we're gonna do just one whole thing on guardianship and alternatives. So as the ARC, like Tawana and I usually do this presentation together, and she's really knows the guardianship process extremely well. And my area is all the alternatives to guardianship. I will say that when we were going through this process, Tawana was my son's biggest advocate on him
I'm still her kid's biggest advocate.
yes,
Yeah.
on him, us not gaining guardianship over him. And who was interested in going to college? Garrett. So are you going to just GTCC, regular college? Is he thinking about Beyond Academics or one of those programs?
So Clemson is conversation comes up a
The
lot.
Clemson Life program. I'm a Clemson grad.
Okay.
I really love that
Or-
program.
Yeah,
Did he get in already?
no, we haven't, we're getting ready
Yeah.
to tour, but,
So those programs, if you're interested in going to those programs, will not accept you if you're in guardianship. Because a big part of them is teaching you how to make decisions. And so it's hard to do that if you are in guardianship. So there are alternatives to guardianship, and that can be a power of attorney, a general power of attorney for financial issues, a medical power of attorney for medical issues. There's a new thing that North Carolina hasn't quite adopted, but the legislature has a committee that is considering putting this into law right now called supported decision making. And that would be basically teaching someone to have or pick appropriate circle of friends to help you make decisions. And I mean, what 18-year-old really knows how to sign a lease or buy a car or anything like that? Yes. So it's just teaching them how to have those safe people around them to help them make really important decisions. Your mom and dad for medical, or, a sibling, so.
And most of the time, everything that you do business wise too, if you can get them to sign a consent for them to talk to you, you can do that as well. In certain things, because if you ask that doctor too many questions and they are 18, they're gonna say, well, I don't have consent to talk to you anyway, because they just don't want to talk to you because you asked all the questions they want to answer.
So what we do is do a medical power of attorney, but then also sign HIPAA forms every year at the doctor. And at this point, I've created monsters with both my kids. I say that they're advocates. So I just sit back, and if I even start talking, they go, no, I got this.
And
So-
they are very big advocates for themselves. I mean, we went to self-advocacy conference last week, and they know how to advocate for themselves. Her daughter walked up to me and she said, I didn't have a choice. I mean, they always tell on her the way. I didn't have a choice with this. So then, I kind of walk her through what was her choices and whatever. And she said, okay, you're right. She'll do it. They do it.
So that's where we're talking a little bit about self-advocacy. It's just really important. If you go to a program like Clemson Life or Beyond Academics, that is the biggest part of the curriculum, is teaching you how to advocate for yourself.
Right.
Yes. So what we really recommend, and I'm going to email this out to you today, Shawana has a 1-pager on the guardianship process. We also have, I'm emailing out the guardianship questionnaire. That is something that is truly just a good tool to use. It's questions that the clerk of court would be asking, you know, are you able to feed yourself in the morning? Can you, you know, put clothes on? Can you pick out your clothes? What are the things, daily life skills that you're doing on your own? And it's a really good tool, I think, just to start thinking about this process. And so I'm going to send you that information. Any other information, if this is the topic that you're really interested in right now, we have so many tools to send you. So you can email me back and I'll make sure I get you or answer your questions. You do not necessarily need an attorney to do guardianship. You can see the art can kind of help guide you through that. The paperwork, the paperwork can be somewhat daunting, but you know, like Shawana goes to court many times with families just to help.
How many times a week?
Yeah. So anyway, if you have any questions around guardianship before we do the next session, we'll be happy to assist you through that. Let me go here. All right, now we get to Social Security. This has been probably the question we get asked the most over the last 2 years through COVID. Social Security office was shut down for 2 years. They didn't really open back up till April of this year. And you can't get an appointment. It was hard to get a phone call or a response back. So we're going to include a handout in this on, and here I'll hand this out. Can you help me? This is a timeline for applying for Social Security benefits. I'll email that out to you guys. The biggest thing about applying for Social Security, and I tell this to every family, they have had tremendous turnover and their knowledge level varies from representative to representative.
I call them the people up under the seat.
Yes. And so it's striking to me, like, you know, a family would go to apply that I would think would be absolutely a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And they get denied.
Right.
So one of the things I tell everybody, because when we went, I applied in October, we got it in November, we started our checks in December.
Yes.
I mean, like it was boom, boom, boom.
Yes, it was.
But it was because I had other families tell me how to do this. So the number one thing is to get an updated psychological, independent of everybody, an updated psychological 3 to 6 months before you turn 18. So sometime in that time frame. Now, right now, because of COVID, it may be, you know, they may be 6 to 9 months out booked to do a psychological. So if you're 6 months out, go ahead and start trying to find that. And it's really good to find somebody who understands the transition to 18 and how to make sure that that psychological is written such that you capture and what Social Security is looking for is, will this person be able to work 40 hours a week at a sustainable wage?
Right.
So you need to
Without
have
support.
Without support. So you need to have language in there that states, you know, and include medical issues. My son has flat feet. And so standing for a long period of time is really hard for him. So include that kind of information in there too, any physical limitations, but also include, you know, an IQ test, the somebody else. Yeah, no. I know. So you want this IQ or psychological to be in depth, but dealing with work, because that's what SSI is about. If you do not have the ability to work 40 hours a week or make a sustainable wage now in North Carolina is $13.50 a month. Okay. So if you get that psychological, on my list, you've got the other things that you need. I'll be emailing that out to everyone. And please feel free to call us if this is imminent. We'll be happy to kind of walk you through that process. You can make an appointment the day after they turn 18. So, but you need to make it like 2 or 3 weeks in advance, because even now through COVID, they may even be out like 6 to 8 weeks at this point.
Right. And
So-
if you don't have any if you don't, if you're planning on being a guardian, then as soon as you get you need to do it after you get your guardianship, so it makes it a little bit easier for you for the communication process. But if not, you need to have something where you're actually
Your guardian.
you're able to communicate with the Social Security, because you don't get to call in there and do that either if you're not the guardian.
But through this appointment, it's probably very important to take your child with you.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Yes, because then they're able to see what we're dealing with. They're asking them questions. They're not able to necessarily articulate or answer the questions. And that does kind of help the people without a lot of knowledge really see the big picture. Because in most cases, people at Social Security are really more dealing with people who have had a car accident and can't work, or, some sort of catastrophic thing has happened and they're not able to continue to work. In this case,
Michaela got a question.
oh, hi, Michaela.
Sorry. My son he already receives SSI, so it changes when he turns 18.
Yes, so that's part of SSI. Everyone has a redetermination at the age of 18.
Yeah. He said she don't be it.
It's
If he's
still,
already getting it, he's already getting SSDI, so he's already getting disability. Yeah.
but at 18, everybody has, yes,
She can apply
For more.
you can
Yeah.
apply for more, but at 18, everyone goes
The
through
reevaluate, yeah,
redetermination.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just gonna make you go through the redetermination, just like you hadn't applied, to make sure that he's still
Yeah.
disabled.
Okay.
But we can help you through that process if you.
Well, you know what I always tell parents, because everybody, like they'll talk about CAPA, they'll talk about, I have to do these things over and over again. And they'll say, well, I need to keep taking and applying for these things. Well, and I said, well, when you go in a car dealership and you apply for a car, they're not gonna give you a car if you ain't giving some paperwork to get that car. So basically, that's what Social Security is pretty much saying, that after this certain amount of time, you go back in, you're saying to them that this kid has been 18, and a lot of people do improve. I mean, Sam is amazing. Stephanie kids are, functioning independent, which they wasn't younger. So you go in at 18 to say, okay, here's my new check stubs. I need a new car. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The one thing about this process that you will get frustrated with is they're more of a medical model. So they're going to continue to ask you, has their IQ gotten higher? And instead of saying, like, yes, I broke my leg, it's better now and I can now work, autism is never going away.
Right.
Down syndrome is never
Right.
going
No.
away. So those questions that they ask you it's a medical model as
Right.
opposed to a behavioral
Right.
or
And it's
behavioral health
kind of
model.
like Stephanie said, even when she sends you out that capacity thing for their guardianship, they give you 2 questions. Can they do this? Yes or no? And you say, well, some of it. At that point, you just say no. You know what I mean? Because if you go up here trying to give grasp for the things that they can't do, because as parents, you want them to be capable. You know what I mean? So you don't want to paint them bad on a piece of paper, but in these situations, if they can't do with 10% of it, no. They can't do with 50% of it. No. Yeah.
Because you want to be realistic
You want
for
to be
sure.
realistic.
I always have to throw in self-advocacy. That is the heart in our mission, is helping them be a part of all this process to the biggest extent possible. So we always recommend that as we're going through these processes, that they have some sort of say or some sort of control throughout to the best extent possible. All right, so this is what I want to show you. This is something rather new with the ARC US. And I've just gone through and gotten certified in this. So I'm going to see if I can click on it right here, if it'll let me. Yeah, wow. And this is a tool that I think is just something that families, it would be important to see. Folks online, are you seeing the Center for Future Planning, or do I need to stop sharing and share again?
Stop share and share again.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Okay. So this is a new program from the ARC of the US. All of the chapters had to go through and kind of do the training and get certified in it. But the entire tool is to create a life plan, a life course plan. And the cool part about it is they have a learn section where you can go in and watch lots of videos. Here, let me go here. Lots of videos on what is future planning, what are the things that I need to know as I'm filling out the questionnaires. So it gives you lots of opportunity to reflect. They also give you something called a letter of intent, which I think I've got. I'll go to that in just a minute. I want to show you the website first. So there's a whole section on future planning. Who are you? Are you the parent, the person with an IDD, a sibling, staff at the ARC, family members or other professionals? Where do I start? So it gives you a lot of, again, videos to watch, ideas of what other people are doing across the country, tons of webinars, archived webinars. And so you start out learning, you know, how do I build this or how do I start it? The cool part about this is you start the process, and then in a year, if, you know, my son graduates from UNCG and he goes on to do something else, it's really easy to go in and change and tweak what his plans might be. So it stores it. So you'll have it on the cloud. So when you go to build your plan, okay, I'm going to stop sharing really quick. Okay. Nope. Sorry. Hang on really quick. Build plan. It's a letter of intent. I may have to go find it. I don't think I pulled it up. Darn.
It was on that front page.
The very front page.
It was on the front page of your yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So
It
the
is.
front
Okay,
is
let me go. Yep. Thank you.
Right there. Yeah.
Yep. Let me just click on that.
No,
No, letter of intent. Thank you. Sorry.
It's like,
There we go.
it's like, yeah.
Okay, that's what I need. Okay, now I'll start sharing again.
The first.
Is that it? Yeah, that's it right there. Okay. Sorry, guys, online. All right. So this is a fillable PDF. And a lot of the questions are, first of all, just, you know, general information. But a lot of them are like the questions on the guardianship questionnaire.
Mhm.
But you can fill this out as mom and dad, but then you can also go in and get your self-advocate to fill it out as well. And I think it's often kind of cool because I did it and then I let Sam do it. And when I let Sam do it, I let him make all the choices. I let him pick everything.
I'm just curious of what you picked.
I'll go and pull it up for you. So anyway, you go in and fill out this general information, but you've got about me, where I currently live, where I've studied, all about my family, any professional contacts or people that I know. I mean, this is a lot
They
around.
look better than the ISP.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it does.
Yeah, they look
And I mean, this could be, people that are important to you, like if you're wanting to do supported decision making. So who are the people in my life, whether it's someone in the church or, a trusted neighbor or friend. Then where I live. Oops. More information about, do I rent? Do I, own, actually our guys can own a house. Daily
car.
activities. So it's very comprehensive. So once you fill this out, this is a letter of intent. These are things you could keep in your lockbox, that this is what our vision for what we would like our loved one to be doing. Then you can change this as they grow and change. The people in their lives who are important to them will grow and change with them. So you take this letter of intent and then you go into the program. All right, I'm going to stop sharing again, guys. Sorry. You go back into the program. Where do we go? Oh, maybe it is on there. Sorry. Whoops. Right here. And then you take that letter of intent and then you actually go in and build your plan. So this is just a tool that, hopefully is going to be something that you can set down as your child is transitioning to kind of build, what is the future going to look like? I mean, it's all kind of, no one ever gave us the crystal ball and said, this is what your child's going to be doing, So I think having a roadmap can just feel a little bit more comforting. And it's free, no charge. It's absolutely free, which I think is super cool. I've gone through the training. I can help you as you go along if you need any assistance in this process.
What
All right.
seems to be really cool about that, Stephanie, is that it gives people, I think, some idea. Maybe you're not thinking or planning for certain things, and then looking at it on paper, maybe you start to question that it's possible, or
Right.
And then I've met with families that have a whole plan and have too much on their plan and needs to have just one plan. You know what I mean? One
Yeah.
thing.
Let's do one thing at a time.
One thing at a
One
time.
chunk.
I met with a family the other day. She said, I want to do this. I want to be able to call me back, and I want to be able to do this, and I want to be able to do this. And I was like, okay. So I'm gonna get him to call me back and text me back. That's one thing, because it took you this long to get to that. So let's get to that, and then we'll move to this.
So what we were sort of thinking around this, wouldn't it be cool if we had like a social networking group where all of us are kind of going through some of the same things together? And, I don't know, we create a Yahoo group or an email group or some type where we can ask questions. I mean, it could be a Facebook group. I know not everybody does Facebook, but something where we can chat. I mean, we could even do like a Zoom call once a month if you guys wanted to have questions or need to walk through topics. So anyway, I just felt like this was such a cool tool. I want as many people as possible to know about it. All right, let me go down. Any questions online about this? Okay. So I'm going to click on something else. The ARC, we have just launched a new website, and because of COVID and because we continue to get the same questions over and over and over, and people couldn't get into Social Security and all these other systems, we decided to create a really, really intense, rich website. So I'm going to click on that. Let's see, I may have to stop sharing. Here we go. So at 2:00 in the morning, when you're searching the web, and hopefully I'm asleep, we try to create resources along the lines of transitioning to adulthood. So we have North Carolina DHHS Medicaid, the ARC at School. That's a project we're working on because I do a lot of IEPs and help families in the school system. Advocacy, financial planning, employment, housing, guardianship and alternatives, social activities, and then other disability agencies. So I don't know about y'all, but I like websites that are not wordy and really clean and easy to navigate. So we decided, instead of having a whole lot of words, I'll just go to North Carolina DHH Medicaid. We would put logos and the names, and all you got to do is click. This thing is getting in the way. So here's the Sand Hills Center Innovation Waiver sign up. Oops. Oh, I gotta click on that. So here's that registry of unmet needs I was telling you about. Can y'all see it online, or did I open another page?
Nope, we can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. All right. I think it opened another page though. Hang on. I gotta stop sharing a minute. Sorry.
Oh, we didn't even talk
Clunky.
about Social Security for, some of the kids do not get Social Security or have not been declared disabled or are not getting, when you go through your Social Security, do keep in mind they will get Medicaid. So, and they become their own person. So their money, their Medicaid, and their stuff is their stuff. It won't be merged into anybody, into any family income stuff at that point. Like now, nobody gets it.
Financial planning. I'll
It's
get
not
to
the
that.
financial part goes out the window,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
So anyway, I would love to get feedback from y'all if y'all don't mind going through, looking at the website. We are still tweaking it and finding mistakes, but please go through and you can see it's got all the links for Social Security Administration. I just pulled up financial management, the ABLE account. We didn't even touch on that tonight. And I know we're getting really close to the 8 o'clock hour, but one of the things we have decided to do with this website is we are also going to have a subscribers link. In the past, the ARC has always been members, where we have membership. But for many years, we've not really known what membership is all about. So our subscriber page is going to be where we keep all these rich resources. It will be a paid site, and we're going. Our subscription is going to be for the annually. There it is, $75. Like tonight, when you signed up, it was $10, but that will include it. The $75 includes any and all websites we do all year long. So yes. Not only are we going to do our own, we're also going to be sharing a lot of information with that other agencies are doing to make sure that you get like Chawana's thing on filling out this letter, or the ARC of North Carolina is doing some pretty amazing webinars right now on this transformation, and the one Thursday night is going to be on if you're dual enrolled, Medicaid and Medicare.
That one Thursday night, that's gonna be at a dual enrollment,
Yeah.
Medicaid.
So there's so many agencies right now doing really good webinars. Who was interested in employment? Right now, North Carolina has an employment first initiative going across the state. And I think the DD Council is doing something on employment coming up. I would really love just to keep that on our calendar where I can post it so people can go and find all these really good webinars that are coming up right now. So it won't just be what we're doing, but I want to share what everybody else is doing as well. Our advocacy and working with families in the school system kind of become all consuming. So what we want to do as part of the $75, you would get 2 free hours of advocacy support, access to all these videos. I've recorded this one. We're going to have a private YouTube channel where we'll post everything, and you'll be able to access this at any time, go back and watch it again. So, and then all these tools and resources and pages, I think really we just want to create kind of a community, a place where people can come in and even at 2 o'clock in the morning, be able to go and pull up resources that we've talked
I
about.
don't know why everybody got to be up at 2 a.m. Why you got everybody up at 2 a.m.? We going to bed.
You'd be shocked at the number of texts and emails I get at 2 a.m. because that's when families
trying to
have
go
a
to sleep,
time, or they're trouble sleeping, or it's on their mind, So anyway, any questions? We're at 8:01 right now. I did put on, let me stop sharing here.
How many more of these, you said you're gonna build a plan from this?
So this is this is my next thing. And I'm going to email this survey out, but I've created a survey with a ton of topics on it. If you don't mind filling out what are at the topics at the top of your list. On our page right now, on our website, let me go back and share again, sorry. We currently have these listed, but I'm willing to change. If you guys are really needing guardianship right now, so right now we've got the turning 18, that was tonight. I've got post-secondary education options coming up next, but you guys are the ones who signed up for tonight, so you get to pick what comes next. I can go in there and change it no matter what. So if you fill the survey out, put your top 3 picks, and then I'm going to take the number 1 and we'll go with that the next time. If it doesn't really matter if you're, if you just have several that you like, or you take a look at what we currently have on there and you're okay with it, that's fine too. But I would love that feedback from y'all before you leave. And then I'm going to blast it to everybody, the survey, for those of you guys who are online. Any questions about that? And actually, you know what? I think I had it pulled up. I'll go ahead and blast that right now as we're talking. I had the email pulled up. Let me stop sharing, sorry. All right, I just sent that survey out to you guys, so you could take it. If you fill that out, I'll create a flyer tomorrow. I'm sorry, yeah, I'll create a flyer tomorrow, and hopefully by tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and have the one for the next month up and posted for folks to fill out. The only thing that I ask is if you guys just tell people about this, we'll have a little bit more information about the subscription program down the line, but I thank y'all all for coming tonight. Is there anything? I know we went through this really fast in 1 hour, but if you have any questions, email us. We'll make sure we answer it. If it's something I know Chwan is an expert at, I'll forward it to her. Yes, I know.
I'm trying.
So, do you guys have any questions now?
I do. What was the price for the membership again? I think I thought I heard $10 and then I heard $75. Which one is it?
So for our subscription, annual subscription, it's $75. if you decide not to do that, it's just $10 for any workshop you want to come into. But we'll be doing 12. So if you did $75, that is a savings. So, and we probably will have more than just one a month. There's probably going to be more coming down the line. I think I have 24 options on here for you to pick. Medicaid transformation is going to be, yes.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have folks tied in on that, and that subscriber the subscriber pages, I'm still building it. It's going to really be what we all learn from this. I had another family who came in in 2021. Their son graduated from high school in OCS, and he was a football coach, and he said, all right, this is too confusing for me. Write me a playbook.
Yeah.
So I did it in like a football playbook, and it worked for him. So however, whatever format works for us, we can do that. One other thing, when you look at the future planning site, the cool thing about that, they've got a resource page. I've already started adding people in our community who work with families, like lawyers and financial planners. And I've got one of my Kiwanis buddies has joined in, but I'm trying to get those types of folks to be a resource on that page. And what I would love to do is just have a really good community of rich resources for families around transitioning to adulthood. Someone who can write a special needs trust, someone who can help you fund a special needs trust, someone who,
I need you to talk. Yeah.
yes. So we need, professionals who understand and know, and, who will not mess up Social Security benefits for us. Having someone who can talk about ABLE accounts and understanding that tool in the tool belt,
And some people that just don't confuse you even more. You know what I mean?
So, and one thing I didn't pass out, or somewhere we got lost in the line, and I've got this on the thing. Yeah, so Laura has gone through, we're really have a focus on helping folks find jobs, and our biggest roadblock coming up where people are afraid that it'll mess their benefits up. And so Laura went through a training, and Laura's in the room here. Laura went through a certification to become a Social Security benefits counselor. So she can actually help you navigate.
She's so smart.
I know, navigate through or make sure that you're not messing up your benefits from Social Security.
I know.
Yes, I told you
I
that.
didn't get you.
Yes.
She told me you had already talked to
Yeah, but and that's the other thing you're going to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we can pass these around. And we will do another session just deep diving into working and managing your Social Security benefits.
Keep these checks in a little bit.
Any questions at all?
Last question was gonna be, you mentioned the playbook for the coach.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking earlier. It was like, where do you begin? Like, if you have something that's
Step by step.
that like, here,
I did it for him. I did. You go here first, you do this, and
You
you
already
do
have
that. I got it in a Word doc.
I thought
Yeah.
that-
I will send it to you.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's too much.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Right. And then there are
like that
things
too.
that, as you walk in and listen to these people, and you be like, that ain't what Steve said. Then you can, that ain't what Tawana said. You say, okay, Tawana, break this down to me play by play. What do I go to 10-yard line, or do I go, yeah, let's do that now. I'll figure out what it is. In
Yes.
football.
Yes.
Well, that SSI thing that, was on that page. See, we just lost his, but that's saying, is that saying he's still
You-
eligible for
Yes, but
SSI?
remember, you still have SSDI for him.
Right, from his
He got a
mom.
job,
Okay.
Yes.
and he had more SSDI than SSI.
Mhm.
And so as he's working, the
It's shrinking,
SSI is
shrinking.
going down, but his paycheck's going up.
Right.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So you're making more money.
Right.
but you still can keep your Medicaid because he can make up to $40,000 a year and not lose his Medicaid.
Wow.
Okay.
And
So
that's good.
it's
That's-
really, now, if he's making enough to get benefits at Food Lion, then
Why do we need
that's
Medicaid?
awesome. We don't
Yeah.
need Medicaid,
But
right?
see, I think that
So-
the scary part is what you just said. So you got that thin line between parents feeling like, they're going to continue to be disabled. You know what I mean? You got that thing that everybody get nervous about. So, and when they do get nervous, I mean, I'm pretty much a realistic person. I try to say, okay, I want them to be here, but if you want to keep $2 just to keep their Medicaid, then, you know what that threshold is too, because, and I got a guy that I had today, for example, he worked 40-hour a week. I mean, they called us and they said he the best worker in the freaking plant. I mean, the whole plant. But he has impulsive explosion. And if the supervisor say something wrong, he worked 3 months great. Everybody in the building appraised him. Somebody say something, he get confused, and he don't want to stay out there help him. He blows up, get fired. We back to square one. Does it every few months. So do
That's
I want to
kind of
lose it?
what I'm afraid of.
So do
And-
I want to lose my Medicaid to do that, and then they don't have anything? So I'm
But you
that's
got
what I'm
trial
afraid of.
periods to do that. See, she can go over and tell you all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
But that, I get it. I do get it. But then that is the thing. I mean, it's
Well, the
scary for
problem-
families.
the problem
Yeah, and
is that
it's so
Complicated.
great
Yep. Yeah.
that it's just, it's scary, it's still
scary.
scary.
It's
Even
scary
if
'cause it's complicated.
Even if you
And-
show
and
the paperwork
me-
on how
yeah.
they figure it out, it's still scary.
Scary. And me and Stephanie talk about this all the time because Stephanie is a great advocate for her kids. I mean, a great advocate for her kids. But Stephanie literally is one of the parents that's got to walk inside of Social Security and push the freaking button for them. She knows exactly what button it is, and she's talking to them. But every parent doesn't. They
You don't
some
know
have
how to
that
do
skill.
that.
Yeah.
well, like I had someone call me from Social Security when I'd signed them up for the ABLE account.
Yes.
And this
yes.
poor little lady called me and she said, because you get audited, if you're rep payee, you get audited once, twice a year. They had stopped doing it during COVID, but you get at least once a year, you get audited. And the lady called me and said, and I'm straightforward. Yes, we've got this bank account, we've got, and now we've got an ABLE account. Well, you need to tell me, you need all your documents of every deposit going in and all the money coming out. I said, no, I don't. I said, that's exactly why they created this. I said, no, I don't need to do that. I need to tell you I got it, but it's shielded from all of his benefits. And she was like, I don't know about that. And I said, give me your supervisor. And
Right.
so I went up the chain
Right.
and I ended up going over and doing a staff training.
Right. Right.
Or I think I ended up calling in somebody from NC
yeah.
ABLE account to get it done.
But
I've
see,
never heard of the ABLE account.
But see,
No.
Yeah.
because Stephanie
Yeah,
likes the
I
ABLE account.
checked that.
The
It's
ABLE
just
account gets
another
me scared all the time. I'm just sitting there like, I've been doing this for so long. I'm so scared that all of them gonna have this money over here and they're gonna take everybody's benefits. So I'm like,
Well,
I'm scared.
that's
of
that
ABLE.
Job
problem.
coaches are still saying that.
I know.
We were not long ago, we were
Yeah.
in a meeting and the job coach said, my guy cannot work more than 20.
And we just like,
both were like, no,
yeah.
you know.
You can put your money, you can shelter it.
Yeah.
And that's an ABLE account
I-
helps you shelter.
I like ABLE accounts. I do
Yes.
like ABLE accounts, but I just get nervous because it ain't about the ABLE account. It's about the people that's on the other side.
Well,
and
I
they
do
push the
agree with
button.
that because you've got people who are not
It's a lot of-
knowledgeable
it's-
in
90% of them are not
DSS and
knowledgeable.
Social Security pushes buttons.
Yes,
that-
yes. I mean, I've been on the phone with somebody from Medicaid and I can tell you which button it is to push and they you can't get
And
it.
I'm
Just push that one right there.
I'm sorry, guys, we've gone 13 minutes over. If anybody has any questions, let me know, but we'll be happy. I'm going to go in my office, send the email with all of these documents on it. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to email us or let us know. And if it's for Tawana or Laura, I'll forward the email to them.
Yeah, so then if I get an email back on the.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Any questions at all?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Stephanie, could you just tell me Laura's last name?
Laura Sturgis.
Yeah, you always think. you're-
And what I'll do when I send the email, I've got Laura and Shawana copied on it. So you'll be able to have their contact information.
Thanks.
Yes.
Well,
I
she-
figured you would.
Well, I just,
Yeah.
she explained.
Any questions at all?
Are you going to be going?
Oh, wait a minute. I see chats. I'm sorry.
Blew my whole mind with all that. So I gotta.
I
gonna feel
think
good.
good.
Oh, it's just-
All right,
I
guys.
think-
I'll, as soon as I get your surveys back, I'll, get the next, flyer out and we look forward to seeing you back then. Please share and let all your friends know. Thanks so much and have a good evening. All right, bye-bye.
Yeah,
Because it's a new